Welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour. I'm your host, Illicit. Found your music on the internet, and I couldn't get enough of it. Now I wanna have a little chat, wanna know where your head is at. I just wanna talk to you, find out more about what you do. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do. I'm Illicit Ghost, I'll be your host cause it's my radio. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do. Hi everyone, welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour. Here we are again after a week and a half off. What a week and a half it's been. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you guys, but I hope everyone is taking care of themselves, doing what they need to do to stay grounded, to stay focused. Today, we have a very special guest, artist, musician, producer, based in Brooklyn, New York, Darrow. We're going to talk about her new song, Fuck My Horoscope, which you can listen to on my anti-anxiety playlist on Spotify. Yeah. So, let's bring Tiger in. Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Oh my god, that intro music had me in tears. It is so good.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
It brought me so much joy. I'm at my boyfriend's place right now, and I'm in his bedroom, and he's in the kitchen. I just yelled out, "She has intro music!"
Oh my god.
That was awesome. How are
Gotta
you?
have the intro. You
gotta.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Fuck My Horoscope. I was wondering what made you write the song and if there was like a particular event or feeling that inspired it.
Well, so there was one day I used to get notifications from CoStar, and there was one day where for those who don't know what CoStar is, it's an astrology app, and every morning they'll send you a little tidbit of information that you should carry with you throughout the day based on what your horoscope for that day is. And one morning I had a particularly ominous CoStar notification, and I wish I could remember what it was, but I remember looking at my boyfriend going, ugh, look at what CoStar just said to me. And he looks at me and he goes, you know what, fuck your horoscope, you're gonna have a great day. And I looked at him and I was like, that's baller, that's great, I'm gonna write that down. And then a few months later, we had a little writing camp with our friend Julia and a couple, like several other people, but in that particular group for the day, it was me, Ronnie, and Julia Brex. And we were brainstorming ideas to write about, and I was going through my little notes on my phone, and I went, you know what? I like Fuck My Horoscope. Like, let's go with that and see where it takes us. So we just did that, and we ran with it. And initially it was like maybe gonna be a breakup song or something, and we thought, you know what, let's broaden the whole image of this, and let's try to make it be like a, you know what, no matter what fate throws at you, you can have a great day anyway. So
yeah, I love that message.
Thanks.
I don't really pay too much attention to horoscopes just because it like makes me anxious to know.
Same.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's really interesting, and I love the lyrics. There's like a particular part where you're talking about counting calories, and to me that was like, yes, like it spoke to me so much, because it's like, why are we doing that?
Right. Like, why are we concerning ourselves with incredibly superficial things when it's really just like pursuit of happiness is
right.
The most important aspect of it all. So that's yeah.
So another thing that's interesting about you is that you play the cello.
Yeah.
And you are, I'm assuming, a session cellist.
I am. I do mostly pop sessions. I always like to just give people a heads up. Like, I'm not gonna come in with some like I'm not gonna sit down and shred some Paganini necessarily.
Okay.
like, like I kind of stopped focusing on cello when I got to college, and now I've like picked it up and for arrangement purposes and like for pop music especially and stuff. But like, whew, I like please don't ask me to play some Haydn. I will shit myself.
Okay.
So,
How did you make the transition? Because I'm assuming you grew up studying classical.
I did, yeah.
So how did you transition from classical over into like the pop world?
Um, you know, I kind of always had a deal with my mom where I had to learn classical music. I had to learn classical technique, even though she knew my interests were in pop music and also film scoring. So I knew I always wanted to be on like a compositional side of things, and I think film scoring was like the gateway into pop music. From that I was like, cool, this is a mainstream version of classical music in some ways. So I had my heart set on that. All of my production work that I did was based on the film scores that I was listening to when I was 14. And then at NYU, when I was accepted, I studied composition and theory to try to be on the film scoring track because you had to take that before you could major in scoring. So when I got there, I kind of had a moment of, okay, great, this is what I'm going to do. And then the head of the school called me. Julia Wolf was the head at the time, and she called me and she said, hey, Tiger, so unfortunately, really tragic, but also like kind of a bittersweet moment. She said, unfortunately, your private instructor has passed away.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was wild. And she said, you know, this is incredibly like devastating news for all of us. However, I have a private teacher. Once all of this has died down, I have a private teacher I think you need to meet with based on your portfolio. And he ended up being the head of the songwriting department. And so from there, he convinced me, you know what, you should study songwriting instead. And I have not gone back from that.
Wow.
So yeah, it was kind of a shocking change, but it ended up being a really fantastic one in the end. So
Did you immediately start writing for yourself, or did you start writing for other people first?
I hadn't really considered writing for other people as an option, because so many of my songs were, you know, a teenager sitting in her room singing about her woes, you know. So like I didn't know that that was something I could do until I studied it in college, and then I was like, oh, that's how you make money. Like, cool. So from there, that's when I started reaching out to artists and saying, let's collaborate on something for you. It would be fun to step outside of my comfort zone. So yeah.
And you learned production at NYU?
I, you know, I did, but I also had kind of, because I play a melodic instrument versus a harmonic instrument, I didn't super write songs with chords. I wrote songs with melodies and counter melodies. And I didn't realize at the time, but like when I was sitting there going, okay, cool, the cello part will do this, but then like I want a guitar part to come in that plays this arpeggiated thing, I didn't realize that that was production.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so I guess I've kind of been producing more or less since I was about 14. And then, but like really honing my craft in college, like learning, okay, why do you make this choice versus that choice? What's this synthesizer versus that one? And why do you want that for this genre and that kind of thing? So I learned how to do that in college.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you produce for other artists, right?
I do, yeah.
What are some artists that you have worked with?
I worked with Camille Trust on her song Lavender, which was really fun.
Cool.
She wanted just this like big, beautiful ballad with like a string part and like this really intimate acoustic guitar. So that was really fun to like get to flex the string muscles a little bit. I worked with she's a slightly younger artist. Her name's Veda Black. She had a single that was my first introduction to her was, oh yeah, she likes writing murder ballads. And I went,
Okay.
we are going to get along really well. Looking forward to it. So, yeah, let's see. I'm working with like Lainey Links on something for her. And especially in quarantine, I've just been reaching out to artists I love and being like, hi, let's just work on stuff. Like, I don't care what it is.
Yes.
Would love if you want to put it out, but like, let's just collab. So that's been really, really fun.
Speaking of quarantine, have you found it hard to stay focused?
Oh man, I'm already really scattered as it is, so like quarantine has just exacerbated the issue. I'm the kind of person who already has 20 tabs on Chrome open at all times, and so like I feel like that's a pretty accurate representation of just my brain. And boy, have I been having a tough time just like sitting down to work on one project and be like, I'm gonna finish this, but then halfway through I'll go, ooh, you know what, that thing that I just thought of doesn't work for this, but it'll work for this other thing that I started like 2 days ago. It's a freaking nightmare. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely have days where I'm like totally on, and then there are other days where I'm just totally off. I
Yeah.
just, like, for me, it's more of like an energy thing. Like, I'll have
Mm,
super high energy one day, the next day it would be like, okay, I burned myself out past couple of days. Now I need to just kind of rest and
mm-hmm.
relax. Um, but I mean, it didn't, for me, like, life didn't change that much because I was used to spending like a lot of time alone and
Mm,
working on music. So, if anything, now it's like the pressure feels like it's off because there's no party I'm missing, there's no concert I'm missing, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, I can spend every night working on music and not feel guilty about like getting out, networking,
right.
trying to meet this person, that person. So,
Do you feel like
yeah.
now, like to replace that pressure, now there's pressure to like produce something fabulous? I was like, this was my quarantine opus.
Not really. Not
Okay, good.
really. I mean, I'm still like working on stuff,
Yeah,
but like, I don't know, my life just hasn't changed that much in terms of like being locked in all day.
yeah,
You
that's
know, like,
super fair.
I'm just like used to it. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, like sometimes it's difficult to just like know that I can't go anywhere
mm,
because it's like, oh, okay, I really am like in for the
yeah,
next however many months.
yeah,
So like for me, it's important to like keep a routine and like try to keep myself grounded.
right.
Um,
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Like learning the routine. And then I think for me, the routine aspect of it is knowing that someday things are gonna like restore itself back to somewhat of a normal world. And then knowing that whatever quarantine routine I create for myself is gonna have to change again.
right.
That makes it so hard for me to commit to a routine, I feel like.
Do you have a routine that you try to follow?
Um, You know, for a hot second, Ronnie and I were staying at his mom's place, and there we had a pretty good routine where, like, we'd get up, and he's more of a morning person, so he would go downstairs and he would start to make coffee, and I wouldn't get out of bed until I heard the coffee grinder because I'm a little bit slower than he is. And then, he would work, and because I could hear him working all day, I would be upstairs working as well. And then we kind of synced up when our breaks were. And then we were also staying with his sister who has a normal 9 to 5 that she was doing remotely. And when she would stop working, we would go, okay, let's stop working. And we would have dinner or play Settlers of Catan and like
Nice.
have the night off. And that was awesome. And now that we're back in New York, we're kind of back to our weird, like, I mean, for lack of a better term, clusterfuck of a schedule where, we feel guilty if we're not working all the time. And because we don't live together, like, we're not necessarily keeping each other on a normal sleep schedule. So, like, I'm going to sleep at 3 in the morning every night and waking up at 10. And he's like going to bed at midnight and waking up at 8. Like, I don't, it's been tricky to like break my old habits of your like pre-quarantine shitty, like, I just want to work all the time habits. So, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that when I'm in Brooklyn, I'm like just doing music like all day up until the nighttime. And
Yeah.
then if I like take a break, if I go outside the city, like I definitely am able to like slow down more. I feel like it's
Hmm.
just something about being in New York
Yeah.
and just like knowing that you're there and you want to like just work as hard as you can.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of how I feel sometimes. And it's easy to just kind of like get lost in that and
Oh, yeah. I mean,
overwork yourself.
the like baseline anxiety level of the city as a location is so high that, like, even if it's not necessarily like people actively telling you or asking you what are you doing, like, you need to do, you need to have something to show for yourself, you just feel it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating, and you feel like you're doing the most all the time, and you're exhausted, and you're like, but I'm not doing enough.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hard. It's weird to try to find a balance here. So
Definitely. Yeah, especially because I get super anxious going outside in the city now
mm,
because like not I mean, people are wearing masks but not everybody.
yeah.
So I'm like afraid to go for a walk in the morning because I'm like I don't want to be in contact with someone who's like not wearing them. It's like the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I have a dog, and nobody in my neighborhood wears a mask ever.
Really?
Like, unless they go into a store, then they put one on, which is great, but half the battle. So I'll like walk her through huge groups of people who are hanging out, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, the best you can do is worry about yourself,
Yeah.
realistically. But like, yeah, it is pretty anxiety inducing. So I don't know.
Um, yeah. Do you have like something that you absolutely rely on to like keep yourself in check? If you get stressed out, like is there something that you turn to or that you do?
Um, showers, like, I that's a huge one for me. And like, I had this huge bottle of peppermint oil that I got for Christmas, like either last year or the year before, that I hadn't tried yet, because for some reason in my head it just didn't click that this was a thing that I could use in my shower. But one of my friends recently told me, yeah, one thing that's been like helping me a lot is when I shower in the morning, I use a peppermint oil, and when I shower in the evening, I use a lavender oil. Because she was like, yeah, I'm just very clean now. That's what quarantine's done to me. And I was like, word, I'm gonna try that actually, and it helps so much. Like, it's a really like inexpensive way to calm yourself down and also feel like ever so slightly fancy at the same time.
Yep.
And so like now I just religiously shower with a peppermint oil, because it just that helps a lot, and it's not anything I'd ever thought to try before.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, what do you do?
I love oils. I love essential oils.
Yeah,
So I have the diffuser going like all the time.
I love that.
And I love baths. Like
Baths are
I'll do a
great.
bath every night.
I get so paranoid about like bathtub cleanliness. And right now, my like one of my roommates just got off of the lease, and another is quarantining in Louisiana. And so I have my apartment to myself, which is really nice. So what I should do is I should bleach the tub and just take 1,000 baths while I have the apartment to myself.
Yeah.
But initially, like, I don't know, I'm like one of those people who has to like thoroughly bleach the tub before she can sit in the bath
Oh,
that she knows other people have used.
I have to clean it every time. Like before I go in, I clean it every time, or else like I wouldn't be able to relax in there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely like need things to be clean
Yeah,
in
that's
order
fair.
to use them.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story. um, anyway, I wanted to ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
First one, what song is your anti-anxiety anthem?
My anti-anxiety anthem. You know what? I think "Fuck My Horoscope" is. Like,
Nice.
I hadn't had an anti-anxiety anthem until that. and now it's like an excellent reminder when I like feel myself slipping into like a, oh god, I've scrolled my Instagram explore feed for too long and now I need my body to look a certain way. Like I just remember the lyrics to that song and then I'm like, bitch, don't be a hypocrite. Like practice what you preach, damn it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's because it's hard to like, I don't know, it is really hard to give advice and take the same advice. So I'm
for sure. Yes.
definitely learning how to do that.
Good.
But yeah, I think that one's really super helped me.
Cool.
Yeah.
If anyone is just tuning in, you can listen to Tiger's new song called Fuck My Horoscope on my anti-anxiety playlist, or you can search her on Spotify, Apple, Tiger Darrow. Her name is right here. Second question is, what are you most grateful for today?
Today.
Or in general,
No, it's a good question. I like it being I like it being confined to just today, because otherwise I'd be way too stressed about answering that.
Okay. You also
today,
don't have to answer if it's like too annoying of
no.
a question.
Oh my god, no. Today I would say I'm most grateful for intentional days off. Like allowing myself the space to be like, you know what, I'm not gonna answer an email today. I'm gonna like, Ronnie and I sat on the couch watching Michelle Wolf earlier and we started making dinner. He's being a champion and he's finishing dinner and then we're gonna probably watch more Michelle Wolf later.
Okay.
And I really like, I don't know, we don't do a lot of like taking time for ourselves like that. So I think today that is a thing that I'm really grateful for.
Cool. And the other question is, what's your favorite thing in your room?
In my room. Gosh, I wish I was currently in my room so I could show you because I've intentionally made it a fairy wonderland. And it's like pink and I have clouds hanging from the ceiling and like a bunch of like twinkle lights. Oh yeah, I'll send you a picture. It's wild.
That's awesome.
It's really just all of the set dressing that I've ever had from every photo shoot that I've been like, oh, I spent a shit ton of time on this. I can't throw this away.
Oh my god.
So it's very like fairy princessy in there. I think my newest child is this beautiful Telecaster that I just bought. Currently that might be my favorite thing. It's gorgeous. It's like got blonde with like a semi-transparent finish on it and like
Nice.
a mother of pearl pick guard, and I'm very excited about it.
Sounds very dreamy.
It is very dreamy and it's so creamy sounding and I love it. So I think currently that's my favorite thing. It shifts, like it changes, but
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that might be my favorite thing right now.
We did get some questions from the audience.
Cool.
First question is, what band or singer made you realize music could be a powerful outlet for self-expression?
Wow.
For me, I was like, at first I was like, I don't know.
That's a hard one.
I know.
That's really difficult. I mean, like, I think the first person who I latched onto as a songwriter in particular, who I was like, oh wow, that's like an amazing way to convey what you're feeling and also tell a story at the same time, was Sufjan Stevens. Like he was the end all be all for me for a very long time. And I think particularly Age of Ads, that record made me realize like, okay, like he's got orchestration happening here. He like produces things similarly to like the way that I like to produce things. So this is something like, it made me feel like I could learn how to really write songs. I think I'd have to go with Sufjan.
Cool.
Who was yours?
I would probably have to say it's like a tie between Fiona Apple and Alanis Morissette.
Wonderful. That makes a lot of sense, and I love that.
Just like I just remember like hearing those lyrics for the first time. I was like, wait, what? What
Mhm.
did she just say? And I was like, oh, it's actually really fucking awesome. You
Yeah, I
know?
mean, like, totally being the most vulnerable version of yourself in that way is super inspiring. That makes a lot of sense. Oh,
Definitely.
damn.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I felt like I was hit by a bus or something. I was like, this is music? What?
What? Oh man, I love music like that.
Right? um, Another question was, how do you stop procrastinating?
I struggled with this recently. I make a lot of lists. That's one thing that I do. I will say, and particularly when I'm feeling anxious, like if a shower doesn't work, sitting down and writing out everything that I need to do, even the small things like take Stella for a walk or do my laundry, that helps a lot. And then from those lists, I can prioritize. And once I've like gotten the ball rolling with a list, then I can actually get get the confidence to start tackling it. Because oh my god, I'm a massive procrastinator, and I like to tell people that I work really well under pressure, but I think the pressure that is put on me is my own creation.
Okay.
Because I've just fully put something off for so long that I'm like, oh, this is due tomorrow. Let me sit down and work on this. So yeah, I think like being able to see everything in front of me helps me like figure out a good starting place so that I feel less, like I'm drowning.
Yeah, I totally get you. I like didn't know how to beat it at first, but then I got a whiteboard and
I
I'll just
keep
like write
thinking
on the
about
whiteboard.
that. Yeah, that's such a good idea.
It kind of
Man,
works.
it kind of works.
Kind of works. Sometimes I like to ignore it, pretend it's not there, but you
But
have to look at it every day.
exactly, it's like big and intrusive enough that you're like,
Yep.
I see you.
Yep.
Why you make me feel this way?
Yeah. But yeah, that's like the only thing that's really helped me like actually do it and like
Yeah.
get stuff done.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that was pretty much those were the questions. And
Nice.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming on
Thank you so much
and
for
for
having
chatting.
me. Yay.
If you're just tuning in, we're on with Tiger, new song Fuck My Horoscope on Spotify. I am going to play it for you guys. So
Oh boy.
it's very exciting. Yeah, so thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Of course, it was a
enjoy
pleasure.
being able to chat even if it's virtually.
Yeah, me too.
It's really nice.
Okay, here we go.
I forgive a lot quicker. I'm so in love with my brand new self. With my brand new self. Cause I live by the book and you pull me off from the house of the camera. I knew the digital skies of the sacred. Fuck my horoscope. I'm gonna have a great day.
Thank you. Alright, bye guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Like a mood ring, did the same new thing.